Good morning. I am Mark, and you are at MarcsBasecamp.com, which you already know because you clicked on this. Maybe you even typed it in. We have these things, keyboards, where people use letters and whatnot. So it's kind of an older thing, but so am I, so that's fine. But what this is a domain that I've been in and out of owning for really the better part of 20 years or so. I haven't written on this in 7 or 8 years. In fact, I honestly let the domain name go completely. I wasn't even paying for it for that period of time. And then to my great shock and amazement, when I went back to see if it was still available, it was. So I snatched it up before some troll did and tried to sell it to me. And I just relaunched this. I launched it again. And so now what I call this is I call this Marc'sBasecamp Mark 2. See what I did there? And the Marc'sBasecamp Mark 1 with all the old written articles, that is still going to be here someday. It's all on my computer still, but I have not uploaded all of that to this domain just yet. But I will. And so if you want to read those, or if you're somebody who was around in that time and you remember that stuff is still, I have it all, and I'm going to put it up there again. But the new content, it's going to be anything that I feel like it being, but it's going to be heavily focused on fitness because I own a climbing gym, and it's going to be heavily focused on faith, family, all of that stuff that I like to talk about. That's all at MarcsBasecamp.com, this domain. There is a MarcsBasecamp section of the Treadstoneclimbing.com website where content from here that's climbing and or company related will be at that spot. So, but it'll be the Mark section. It will be the almost stream of consciousness kind of section where I can say what I like without being edited by my crew members who tell me that it needs to be less than 2 minutes and 53 seconds if we're going to post something, because that's the latest research and that sort of thing. Sometimes you want things to be longer. I mean, I know that if I'm going to watch a documentary, I don't want it to be 8 minutes long. I want to see that it's 53 minutes long, or even an hour and a half if it's like a history documentary or something. So sometimes you guys might be in the mood for that. So some of them will be short, some of them will be longer. One of the things that I will talk the most about, of course, is fitness and climbing. And there are many other areas of life that are also very important, even more important, to be honest. I mean, things like faith, things like family. There are really 8 components of life, the financial, spiritual, intellectual, relational, emotional, physical, all that. I mean, all of that is involved in setting goals and achieving them. So one of the things you'll hear me talk the most about is the thing that I call the path. And the path is just how I organize my workouts and my life, honestly. This is a Sunday morning. The week starts with Sunday, so it's super appropriate that we're here on a Sunday, on a beautiful Sunday at the Red River Gorge, one of my favorite places. We call this Marc's Base Camp, and this is one of my favorite base camps. I've been coming here for 30 years, and I love being here. It's a home away from home for me, and one of my favorite places on earth to climb. Probably my favorite climbing area. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's Yosemite, but asking which is your favorite area to climb between those two, I mean, it's kind of like asking, well, what's your favorite movie? I mean, are you talking about action, comedy, westerns, what? So I mean, the types of climbing are so different, you can't really pick one almost, but this is certainly in my top 3 or 2, maybe even, or maybe 1, I don't know. Anyway, so like I said, I can say whatever I want here, and that's what I'm gonna do. The path is organized around a spreadsheet that I keep on Google Share Drive, and I will make that available to you guys. That's why I put it there, and it already lives there on Share Drive. But when I get it to a point where I really want you guys to be able to use it, you will be able to. But it scores your workouts, it scores all of your other goals as well. So all of that other stuff, the relational, intellectual, financial, all that stuff, you'll be able to do goals in that spreadsheet there too. But I'm going to start with fitness because it's just what I know the best. In terms of order of operations, it's the thing that I do first in the week and the thing that I do first in a day, because it just sets the tone. It fine-tunes your body and your mind, honestly. It makes you think more clearly because we're just kind of built that way, whether it's endorphins or something deeper with, feeding your soul kind of stuff for doing workouts. I really believe all of that. And I find, just me personally, I function best if I start my day with working out. So what we'll do with the path is we'll first flesh out the workout section, and then we'll get the other components of life into it as well. So be looking for that, and be looking for posts from here. One of the things I want to tell you about the path just briefly though, is the reason it's so valuable is it promotes consistency. And that is the king of effectiveness, is consistency. Intellectually that's true, physically that's true, consistency. You could do a less than ideal workout consistently and you'll get much better results than if you did the perfect workout that was designed for you by Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. And if you did it sporadically, you wouldn't get anywhere near the results as if you were doing a less than perfect workout, but super consistently. So what my spreadsheet allows you to do is it lets you track it. And here's the thing too, and this is what's unique about it, is that it gives you a score, okay? And why is that important? Here's why. Because the reason most people fall off from their goal setting goals is that, for example, on New Year's Day, they'll say, okay, January 1st, I'm gonna quit smoking. But then come January 3rd, they had a weak moment and they had a cigarette. I mean, never mind that they used to smoke 12 of those every day, but it wasn't until January 3rd they had one, and then then they feel like a failure and they quit. And now they're like, oh, well, I guess I'm a smoker again. So that's a big reason, psychologically, why we don't achieve goals. So what my spreadsheet does is it says to you, okay, you wanted to try to quit smoking, you had a cigarette on January 3rd, you had another one on January 12th, you had 3 of them, holy cow, on January 27th. Well, okay, even that, you didn't fail. You got a C+, maybe even a D-. I don't know. I mean, some goals are harder than others, but you didn't fail. And what my spreadsheet does is it reflects that for you. It's going to give you a D- for January. But holy cow, all we got to do is set our sights on February, hit the reset button, which is a wonderful thing to do, because that's why I love Mondays so much. That's why I love New Year's goals. That's why I love restarts of any kind, is that you've got that clean slate. So use it. The next week, the next Monday, the next Sunday, however you want to start your week, or the next month, the February 1st, just hit the reset button. And this time, let's get a C+. And then in March, maybe you get a B-. Okay? And you are making so much more progress than if you just fall off the wagon and say, oh, I guess I'm done, I failed. Okay, so that's the idea. And I've already done all the work. I've already done all the formulas and everything. You just set your goals in the weekly planner, and then the formulas pull it over to your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday. And believe it or not, I even have it laid out in cycles, 7-week cycles. There are 7 of them with a week break of active rest in between, okay? So it is possible to do. Earlier this year, before COVID hit, we're still living in the middle of that right now, just in case you're watching this years from now. But before COVID hit, and I hate to be one of those other people who blame COVID for falling off the wagon, but when I first started doing this, I did have one 7-week cycle, the first one in January, where I got 100 points for 7 weeks straight. Didn't miss a single rep of working out, okay, which also spawned another hashtag I call ridiculous consistency, where some of those days I was actually in my gym, 4 of those days, I was in my gym at like 2 o'clock in the morning doing my cardio just to make sure I got my 100 points for cardio. But that entire 7-week period, I got 100 points for a 7-week period. It is possible to do. And you know what? It was actually really fun. It was really fun, and I felt fantastic. Okay? So I want to help you with that. I want to share it with you. The whole thing is built already on Google Share Drive, so it's very easy to share, and I will be doing that, so stay tuned here. And somewhere on your screen, somewhere, is a like and subscribe buttons. And this is all going to be YouTube channel driven. This is all supported by a YouTube channel. So I guess I'm one of those guys now that says like and subscribe. So please do. And I'll see you at Basecamp.